Straight ahead on 12 News, a flashback to cars of another era.
There's just so many stories that vintage cars tell for people and relive for people.
The new Golden Valley business that's giving people a second spin at their youth. Plus, the new smartphone game that's getting more people off the couch, but it comes with a word of caution. But first, highlighting racial disparities in police stops. What one local city is doing to address concerns. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. The fatal shooting of Robbinsdale native Philando Castile by a St. Anthony police officer is highlighting racial disparities when it comes to traffic stops. Some local police departments are implementing policies to change those disparities. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us what the Brooklyn Park Police Department is doing.
It's really scary to even be pulled over by a police. It's really scary to be in the vicinity of a police because you never know where their mind at.
For Kevin Brown and other people of color, racial profiling is a real thing.
It happens a lot. I pulled you over because I ain't never seen you in this neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I pulled you over because you was going too slow.
A study by the Council on Crime and Justice shows that black drivers in Minnesota were stopped more than their share of the driving population. In fact, 214% more than expected.
I can honestly tell you that I hate the police. I hate the police. But, you know, do I have respect for government law? Yes, I do.
Being a black man is really hard to trust law enforcement.
The city is trying to change those perceptions. The police department is trying to recruit more minorities to become police officers. They're also trying to engage more with the community.
The city is trying to attract more people of color to its police cadet program.
We pay for them to go to school. Because if we get a person in the door and we've got them and they've already been trained, they know us, we know them, we're already past the gate.
And officers are getting to know the diverse city it serves a little better.
We've been trying to hire police for that. They have to be, expectation is they're going to go out and talk to people, not just drive around.
While some say these are good policies, others are not buying it and saying police should look internally and weed out the bad cops.
I think they should work with them from an internal thing so they can communicate with us as people better.
There's no easy answer, especially in today's climate and dialogue, but I know this, that if you stop trying, things certainly aren't going to change.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Coming up on August 11th, Brooklyn Park is hosting a youth and public safety night. It is one way to encourage kids who might want to be police or firefighters when they grow up. A new smartphone game has players on the go, literally. We found that today along Victory Memorial Parkway.
Every day I've been walking miles, I've been biking, I've been going to different parks around the city, you know, to just explore and have fun. Yeah, it's really good.
Pokemon Go lets you catch a virtual creatures in actual locations. Players then walk or ride their bikes to these spots, but there is a downside. Some players are so focused on their phones that they don't pay attention to where they're going, sometimes walking right into traffic. It is a reminder for participants to be aware of their surroundings.
I think it's actually a great take on some of these internet games where instead of somebody just sitting in their basement and they're able to get out and around and be physical and you know, search out some things that are virtual, but it gets them out and active. So I think it's probably a good thing. It's just with anything new, you have to understand the risks associated with it and keep yourself safe.
Since its debut last Wednesday, Pokemon Go has become so popular that it already added more than $7 billion to the value of its parent company, and that is Nintendo. Residents in Plymouth will learn more Monday night about plans to redevelop the vacant Four Seasons Mall. A developer is hosting a neighborhood meeting at Plymouth City Hall. The mall has sat empty since 2012. Rock Hill Management has plans to turn the property into 2 hotels, senior housing, and restaurants. While the price tag of the Blue Line light rail extension is going up, the increase of 2% or $40 million raises the total cost to $1.54 billion. The higher cost covers added design features such as bridges and parking structures.
Those are new costs that are required and will become part of the project. We also are considering or asking our corridor management committee to consider another $31 million in additional scope items that could become part of the project.
Construction on the light rail project is scheduled to begin in 2018. Work begins Monday night to improve safety on Highway 610. Crews will begin installing cable median barriers and guardrails between Highway 252 in Brooklyn Park and Highway 169 in Osseo. During construction, drivers may encounter lane and shoulder closures in each direction. The installation of the barrier will help prevent fatal cross-median crashes. Work should be completed by early September. In local politics, candidates for Minnesota's 3rd Congressional District seat are getting an infusion of cash. Democratic candidate Terry Boniff says she has raised $620,000. That compares to Republican incumbent Eric Paulson, who has raised $1 million. Paulson has held the seat since 2008, winning 4 two-year terms. Coming up, the new Golden Valley business that could help drivers reclaim their youth. And then a little bit later in sports, it's a bull riding bonanza at the annual Hamel Rodeo. But first, after a damp start, the skies give way to warm sunshine on Tuesday. We'll be right back. Welcome back. In Golden Valley, there is a vintage car rental business that's rolled into town, and it is bound to bring back memories. In this week's Business Matters, we go for a spin with this heritage car rental business that is turning heads.
It just feels so good, and the way the car sounds is just phenomenal.
When advertising executive Sean Foy sits behind the wheel of a 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback, he's suddenly a kid again, growing up in Cleveland with a love for muscle cars.
When you start the engine, you can hear it here. Now that's American muscle.
In Golden Valley, there's a building full of head-turning rental cars. From the 1957 Porsche Speedster to the 1970s era Volkswagen or the 2011 Maserati, these are the kind of cars that until now may have only lived in your dreams.
With this program, you can quite literally, take a different car out every day of the week, and it's going to be ready for you. It's going to be clean. It's going to be washed. It's going to be gas. It's going to fire up when you turn the key, and that's something unique about it.
Take a spin with Maury's Heritage Car Connection. It's a rental car business new to the scene from Maury's Automotive Group, and it's more about brand building than it is about money making.
If one was looking to make a bunch of money, they wouldn't get into the classic rental car business. For us, it's really a connection with our community.
What they know in the car business is every vehicle, even the wood-paneled ones, has a story. It's not always the most powerful cars that turn heads. Maybe you remember this one from a childhood vacation. Did you sit in the way back seat in this 1966 Ford Squire?
There's cars that I look at and I think, well, what is the interest in this car? And then someone comes in and like, oh my gosh, that car, my mom had one when I was in high school. I rode in the back in it.
Over the years, Sean Foy's taste in cars has evolved.
I like some of the more luxurious stuff now.
Renting a muscle car reconnects him to childhood.
Yeah, this one's special. This one, I don't know, that's just this style.
And for him, that's worth the cost.
Just a car of my youth. My brother-in-law, when I was a young kid, had one, and I used to sit on the wheel wells here and watch him work on it.
The majority of heritage cars rent for around $250 or less a day. You must have a clean driving record, insurance, and be at least 25 years of age. Coming up, Cars Part 2, and we're not talking about the Disney Pixar hit, but one of the big draws at Whiz Bang Days in Robbinsdale. But first, highlights from the championship games at the Whiz Bang Days baseball tournament. John Jacobson has that and much more when we come back with sports. John Jacobson joins us now with sports and a big baseball tournament over the weekend. Hopes alive for a couple local teams, sounds like.
Still continuing, and it's a great tournament. Started Friday and still going on through Tuesday. The Jim Hannes Gopher Classic Baseball Tournament is the single biggest American Legion tourney in North America. Each summer, several local teams were part of the 96-team field again this year. Westfall Armstrong Legion met Sartell in a pool play game over the weekend. Bottom of the third, Sartell's Andrew Grant with a 2-out run-scoring hit, tying the score at 3. Top of the fifth, Armstrong's Mike O'Malley with a clutch 2-out single that brings home Matthew Hammond and Nick Sternix for a 5-3 Westfall lead. And they keep the rally going. Preston Reed, slow roller, brings home O'Malley for a 6-3 Armstrong lead. But Sartell chips away, and it's 6-all in the bottom of the seventh with the bases loaded, and then Sartell's batter hit by a pitch. Brandon Walls home for the winning run. 7-6 Sartell is the final. Armstrong was eliminated on Sunday. The winners of the 16 pool play sites advance to Monday. Wayzata and Champlin are two of those teams. Wayzata edged Rapid City 4-3, while Champlin routed Eden Prairie 10-2 Monday morning. Both Wayzata and Champlin were playing their quarterfinal round games at this taping of 12 News. We'll have highlights and more results from the tournament Tuesday starting at 4. The championship game is slated for Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock at Veterans Field in Minnetonka. Robbinsdale Whiz Bang Days wrapped up on Sunday. Championships were on the line in the two age divisions of the Whiz Bang Baseball Tournament. The turf at Lee Field, the site for two Armstrong Cooper teams in the 14-15 final. A.C. Faulkner and the Charcoal Gray strikes first. Brad Good singles to left center to score Brendan Faulkner in the top of the first. It stays that way until the fifth inning. A.C. Thurston in light gray and Aiden Sariago slugs a one-hopper off the fence. He hustles into second base with a double and later scores on a ground out to tie the game at 1. And here's the big blow of the game. Chase Heelman tags a shot that clears the fence near the scoreboard. A 2-run blast for Heelman to make a 3-1 Armstrong Cooper Faulkner. They add an insurance run in the 7th inning. Will Chancellor scores on a single up the middle to make it 4-1. Faulkner with the hit. It turns out to be an important run. A.C. Thurston scores twice in the 7th, but Armstrong Cooper Faulkner wins it by a score of 4-3. In the 19U final, Hopkins Shockers beating Wayzata Briole. Hopkins on fire early, bottom of the first. Jack Cohen's base hit down the left field line scores Jack Sweeney, part of a 4-run first for the Shockers. Wayzata answers in the 2nd inning. Connor Schmidt's liner past the second baseman brings a run home. Wayzata scores 3 times, and they pull within a run at 4-3. But there's pretty good defense from there. Hopkins center fielder Nathan Nelson with a great diving catch here, taking a hit away from Wayzata. Nelson drives in an insurance run and nearly hits it out. His long fly ball here off the fence in right field. Brad Van Tatenhove scores on the play, and Hopkins wins the championship in this bracket. 5-3 is the final. It's grown into a top yearly event on the rodeo circuit. Jay Wilcox captured the sights and sounds from one of the performances at the Hamel Rodeo.
A great crowd on hand for the Friday night performance at the Hamel Rodeo. Mason Johnston of Huntsville, Texas leads the way with a score of 80 in bareback riding. Appleton, Minnesota's J.D. Struxness takes second place in steer wrestling in 5.3 seconds. They get some top talent at Hamel. World champion Jacobs Crawley of Texas scores an 87 to win the saddle bronc riding. He ties the long-standing arena record. The ladies take center stage for barrel racing, and in the novice division, it's Tina Quilling of Dayton in action here. Quilling records a time of 18.63 seconds. Bull riding is the marquee event, and world champ Sage Steele Kimsey of Strong City, Oklahoma scores an 85 to win it. A great show at the Hamel Rodeo. Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
A lot of fun over the weekend. I know people really enjoy that event.
Always exciting to watch. Thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, the former kings of the road descend on Robbinsdale. We'll be right back. The Royal ambassadors for Robbinsdale's Whiz Bang Days were crowned on Sunday. Jayla Anderson, Lily Kocher, and Christiana Turnquist will represent the city of Robbinsdale throughout the year at more than 100 events in the region. They also win a small scholarship. They were judged on poise and speaking ability at several events leading up to their selection. And here are the winners in the Channel 12 Put Me on TV contest. We had dozens of people send in selfies taken along the parade route in Robbinsdale on Sunday. These 3 were chosen at random and will get prizes worth more than $50. Other photos can be seen on our Channel 12 Facebook page and as part of our parade coverage, which will replay Monday night at 10 and also Tuesday at 7 p.m. And finally, lovers of classic cars had an extra special treat during Robbinsdale's Whiz Bang Days celebration. The city played host to a classic car show on Saturday. Delane Cleveland and photojournalist Dustin Scholl give us a taste of these former kings of the road.
Riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel.
This is a 1959 Ford Skyliner. Ford manufactured about 12,915 of these.
Cruising and playing the radio.
Decades of history. So this is a 1953 International Metro.
Riding along in my automobile.
Converged upon Robbinsdale over the weekend. For the 4th annual Whiz Bang Days car show.
Cruising more and driving slow.
Kind of wonder, where has the car been? How many people has it taken here and there? What things has it seen?
Oh, the stories these classic roadrunners could tell. Take, for instance, this old fire truck.
It came from Wells, Minnesota. It had a big history down there. It survived a tornado, and a fire station burned down, and they got it out and everything.
Today, the truck is in the hands of a former Crystal firefighter who's fully restored it and now shows it off like a proud parent.
I redid the bed, put all new oak in the bed and everything.
Did we mention that it's nearly 80 years old?
Yeah, it's a 37 Dodge, and it's in pretty doggone good shape, you know, for being that old.
Every car here has its own distinctive feature and personality.
Well, this is a junior dragster. Kids as young as 5 years old can race one of these cars down the drag strip.
Or a feeling that takes them back to their younger days.
Starsky and Hutch, Starsky and Hutch, Starsky and Hutch. But that's what it is.
While some, simply put, just have the cool factor.
I park next to concourse cars. These are, you know, $200,000 cars. And I get way more attention than they do, and sometimes it pisses them off.
Todd Hewsom's 53 Metro may not have that new car shine.
I mean, it's as aerodynamic as a refrigerator, but it looks way better.
He calls it a survivor.
I'm just here to have fun and talk about it and enjoy the world of hot rodding.
In Robbinsdale, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Every car has a story, that's for sure. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you back here again Tuesday starting at 4.